Hi, I'm Linda Eliasen. Welcome back for the second phase of my project, which analyzes and fits multivariate models to predict the number of monthly visitors to Yellowstone National Park. This information is important not only for revenue projections, but also for resource planning, both human and infrastructure. Multivariate models take into account other factors that may influence people's visits to Yellowstone, such as weather and climate, travel costs, and other macroeconomic factors. The goal is to get a more useful model than the ARIMA model identified during the univariate analysis in Phase 1. Yellowstone National Park is the world's first national park. It spans Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, with the majority of the park located in Wyoming. With a 45-mile-wide active supervolcano, hot springs, geysers, and wildlife, it is a popular tourist attraction for people of all ages. Visitors enjoy hiking, biking, horseback riding, and camping. The park hosts an impressive average of 3.8 million people per year. The data set being used has monthly visitor data from January 1986 through December 2016. There are also 18 explanatory variables for each month, which span temperature metrics for the area, precipitation and snowfall amounts, consumer price index, consumer sentiment, unemployment rates, and the 3-month percent cost change in airfare, food away from home, gasoline, and jet fuel. Important to note that adjustments were made to the original data. The wildfires of 1988 burned from June 14th through November 18th. Park policy at the time was not to intervene, which caused the fires to burn out of control. As this created significant outliers at its peak, data for August and September of that year was replaced with the monthly 5-year average of 1986 through 1990. There are also 4 months that did not have climate or weather data, which were addressed by taking the average of the preceding and following months' data. And finally, the 3-month percent change in airfare costs wasn't available from January 1986 through March of 1989. Because of the extreme fluctuations in this metric in the other years, the decision was made to populate these years with no percentage change to neutralize the impact to the models. Looking at the realization of park visitors, there is a seasonal cycle and a positive linear trend evident. Sample autocorrelations show sinusoidal behavior that doesn't appear to be damping towards zero. There are also peaks at 12 and 24, indicating a cycle length of 12. The spectral density provides further evidence with a dominant peak at the frequency of 0.83 for a period of 12. During the univariate analysis, it was found that in addition to the seasonal period of 12, that there was also a trend present in the data. As we move forward with the multivariate modeling, this will be taken into account when developing the models. The multivariate models evaluated include vector autoregressive and neural network with multi-layer perceptron models. In addition, an ensemble model combining the forecast from the VAR and neural network models is included. The VAR model was fit, allowing lags up to 10, using both a constant and trend as deterministic regressors, and including the seasonal frequency of 12. The forecast versus actual is shown here. We can see that the model performs well the first year, but does not do a good job for the remaining 2 years, as it doesn't fully capture the positive trend and summer month peaks present in the actual data. The MLP model was trained with 50 networks and applied first and seasonal 12 differences. The final model utilized 11 of the 18 explanatory variables and combined the forecast based on the median values, as this provided greater stability over utilizing the mean. The model's forecast performs well the first and third year. However, it does appear to fall short during park peak visitor months for the second year. The ensemble of VAR and MLP model forecasts outperformed the VAR model, but when compared to the MLP model, it did not do as well in years 1 and 3, where it seems to be more heavily influenced by the VAR model. In order to determine which model would be the most useful in predicting park visitors for the coming year, the best univariate and 3 multivariate models were compared. As you can see in the graphs, All four did reasonably well capturing the seasonality of the data, but the ARIMA and MLP did a better job capturing the trend and volume peaks during the summer months. From an ASE perspective, the MLP model outperformed the others based on a 3-year forecast. Based on this, the neural network MLP model was used to develop a projection of next year's monthly visitors to the park. The model was fit on all available data using the same parameters of 50 networks and applying first and seasonal 12 differences and combining forecasts based on the median values. The only difference was that the final model from the full dataset utilized 14 of the 18 explanatory variables. The 12-month forecast of the explanatory variables were derived using MLP with a trend of 1 and seasonality of 12 for all climate and weather-related data. Travel costs, as well as macroeconomic factors, were predicted with a trend of 1 and allowed the MLP to determine if any seasonality was present. Shown here are the projections of visitors to the park, which appears to be logical in that there are more visitors beginning in the spring and peaking during the months when school is not in session, and then tapering off after the fall. The model appears to be doing a good job capturing the seasonality and positive linear trend when compared to the prior years of actual data. However, I am concerned about the overall projections as there are extreme outliers at the peak and negative visitor projections evident in the gray area. It is not plausible that there would be months with negative headcount. In light of this, actual results as we move through the year will be compared to these predictions both from a visitor perspective and the predictions of the underlying explanatory variables so that the model can be refined and adjusted accordingly to improve performance and address these concerns. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please let me know.